Auction properties. Did you know that you can save thousands of dollars if you're purchasing a home and you consider an auction property? Did you know that in Montgomery County, Frederick County, PG County, en las áreas alrededor de DMV, hay muchas casas que se están vendiendo through an auction process? In this video, I'm going to show you how you can take advantage of this and possibly save thousands of dollars buying your next home. Hi, this is Fernando with MAXUS Realty Group of Samsung Properties, and I want to give you this information for you to make a good decision if you're looking to buy a home. I know how hard it is if you're a buyer looking for a home. You know, there's a lot of multiple offers and you're competing with the same people, going from house to house, putting offers together, and the same people are putting these offers so we can compete to finally, hopefully, get an offer accepted at the end. But in a way, you know, when we're working on my group, especially, you know, we want to make sure we're going to explore all the options to help our buyers get a home as quick as possible. And one of those options is also buying a home through the auction property. And I'm going to explain to you what is this process so you can make a decision. In case you're not working with us and you already have your real estate agent, you need to ask him about this information because this information is very important. It could possibly save you a lot of money. So let's get started and let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Real estate auctions are the secret to scoring a great deal on a home, and I'm going to tell you why. Because what is exactly a real estate auction? It's because this property has been taken away from a buyer that did not make the payments on time. The bank now owns this property, and the bank is not going to go over there and try to sell it like a regular house. And they may hire a company to say, listen, I have this house and several others, and I would like for you to sell it as an auction. And here it is. Here are the keys. The bank doesn't want to do anything else because they don't want to spend more money on these houses. And they're like, they just want to get rid of them as quick as possible. A house for a bank anywhere in the country, whether it's a bank or credit union, it becomes a liability for them because something can happen and it can cost him a lot more money at the end. So what type of auctions, and that is something I want to talk to you, is the type of real estate auctions that right now in the DMV area. You need to know that there are four main types of auctions in our area. Let's start with the first one, which is the reserve auction. Reserve auction means that the bank has a certain number on their books saying that if you have a house and the bank says, I will take $200,000. Anybody who bids up to $200,000, you know, or above, then you go ahead and sell this house. If somebody bids $199,900, which is below, then no, we're not going to sell because the reserve is $200,000. So that's exactly what this reserve is. So when your real estate agent goes over there to bid for you, you know, and they get to the $200,000 reserve price, that means that if there's nobody else bidding on top of you, you got the house at $200,000 guarantee because it is the reserve that has been met, and that is the process that you can go through. Meanwhile, there is another auction. It's called the absolute auction. This is the highest bidder automatically wins the property. What does that mean? Let's say the bank does not want to deal with reserve prices. They just want to get rid of this house. I don't care how much money you get for this house, sell it. That's what they're going to tell to the auction company. So the auction company will put this house on the market as a, you know, absolute auction, meaning that the highest bidder will automatically get the property. So what happens in a house, for example, that may be worth about $200,000 and people are bidding, and one of them is $50,000, the other is $60,000, and then there is nobody else that wants to bid on this house. And for some reason, maybe they didn't know this house was for sale, that and the other guy doesn't want to buy it, and then you got a $60,000 once, $60,000 twice, and then you just got a house that's worth $200,000 for $60,000. That is an absolute auction, and that is absolutely one of the best deals you can possibly get, especially if they don't have anybody bidding against you, and the bank and the auction company is forced into selling the house to you for that price. That is what is called an absolute auction. A minimum bid auction is meaning that they have a certain number of price that they want to start. You cannot bid below that. You have to bid anything above that. Sometimes the bidding auction price is very high, so it may not make good sense to go over there trying to get the property to an auction, because at the end, you know, an auction property is normally a property that is being sold as is, and you don't have any choice. You can have a home inspection, you can check all the things on the house, but when it comes down to asking the bank to fix the dishwasher, for example, that is not going to happen. You buy it as is. You own the house with the bad dishwasher or not. That is what is risk you're taking when you buy an auction property. But I'm going to talk to you some risks that are even much higher than that. Finally, the foreclosure auction is where the lender cannot profit from the auction, and the house is going to be sold basically at less than market value. Meaning that if the lender has, for example, foreclosed a house from somebody, and after seeing how much money they owe and everything else, and all the fees that they pay for attorneys and everything else, they have exactly $200,000 on this house. Basically, they can sell it for that price. They don't need to make any money. They don't need to make any profit, and for that reason, that could be a foreclosure auction that can benefit you to buy it at a good price. But the biggest thing is that that bidders beware, meaning that if you're bidding for a house in an auction, you have to know that there is no asking them for repairs. You buy it as is, and in general, if you have a house that is going to an auction, a lot of people, I've been watching auctions for a long time, and sometimes I see a house, that they went very, very low. I don't know if it went for absolute auction. Maybe there was nobody in there to try to get this house and compete, and they got it at a very good price, and then when you start looking at the deal, you're thinking, man, this is a great deal. Somebody got a great deal on this property, But then when you start looking at the information and everything else, you may find out that this house may have something majorly wrong in the house, and that takes a lot of money to fix. And that is the reason sometimes when an auction property becomes a good, it looks on the surface to be a good price, but sometimes it is not. And what is the biggest one? The biggest one that could happen to you if you buy a house through an auction is that the people that the bank has taken the house from, they still living at the house. They basically the occupants of the house, and they decided not to leave yet. And so if you buy this house in an auction, it is your problem now to making sure those people get out. Yes, legally, you have the right of the house. You have the right to get these people kicked out of the house, but it doesn't mean that they're going to do it in a nice way. Sometimes it may require months to do this. Sometimes it may require a lot of money with attorneys and going to court to do this. So it is important. You need to realize about the risks on this. So for that reason, being one of the biggest things of auction properties is to have a house with occupants that they don't want to move out, and you have to go through courts to get them out. Then the solution for that is making sure that if you buy an auction property, buy one that's empty. There's nobody living there, because that's to make sure that you don't have to be worrying about going through these lawyers and courts to try to get somebody out. Now, if the house has some occupants and you don't know how long it's going to take them to get them out of there, you may say, oh, it's going to cost me $10,000. It could cost you $10,000, it could cost you $20,000, and it could cost you 8 months to get him out. So you have to take that in consideration as well. So now that we're talking about it, let's kind of give an idea more or less how many houses are available right now in auction. There's not that many houses right now for sale and auction in Montgomery County, Frederick County, and PG County. And that's the examples I'm doing just for this video, because you can buy houses in Howard County, as you can buy houses in Loudoun County, Virginia. You can buy houses in Washington, D.C., but this is just for the 3 counties that I wanted to check today. Now, the first 2 houses are land that's being sold, and we're going to talk about houses. Like this property, this is in Capitol Heights. It was for sale for $175,000. As you can see over here, it says pending, meaning that this house is already being through the auction block. It's already have a highest bidder, and they're waiting for these people to pay the money and go through the process in order for them to exchange the title to the new person. That's the reason why this house is pending. So this is not available any longer. This house in Clinton, this one is active for $325,000. Now this house, they're only showing one single picture, and that's another thing. You gotta do your homework when you're buying an auction property. Banks and the auction companies don't care to stage the property, get professional photos and all that stuff. They do not care. They just want to sell it and go to the next one. So that's the reason why you're saving money, but at the same time, you have to be very careful. And this particular home, you know, is a great location, very close to Andrews Air Force Base in Washington, D.C. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. Maybe that will be a good house if you're looking to buy something around that area. That will be a good house to get. Look at this beautiful home over here. This is a huge home, very modern. Like I said, it doesn't matter what type of house you're looking for. It is going to be, as an auction, it could be a house that you can buy as an auction. This one is located in Brandywine. The price on this one is $470,000. You know, so it's very important that you read and you have all the description and all the information on the house prior to you to go and buy this house. This one is in Damascus and it's active. And basically it's housed for $399,900, and you know, it sounds like it's not a bad deal, and especially in Damascus for a single family home. And we start seeing some of the information. You can see the house from the outside, and you start seeing the inside. And look at this house. This house has been remodeled. Looks like it's a new floors, new paint. And the kitchen, galley kitchen, has granite counters. So that's not a bad looking house. There is no work to be done on this. Look at the huge window overlooking the backyard. So what I'm saying to you is that a lot of people think an auction house is going to be an old beat up house. No, in this case, look, sometimes, you know, an investor may use too much money to fix a house, and then they cannot pay for it. And that's why it's going to go to foreclosure and it's going to be sold as an auction. But sometimes some investors are doing this kind of work and then selling their houses exclusively through auctions. You got to be careful on that. You know, and right now I cannot tell you if it's a good deal or a bad deal on this, because I have to check the comparables and then neighborhood to making sure this is a great deal. But for what I'm seeing, a $399,000 a house, single family home in Damascus, that looks like this, fully completed, its own washer and dryer, wood floors, and it looks like it's a pretty big land. You know, that does not sound like a bad deal. So I'll be checking this house if you're looking to buy a house. The public auction on this property just happens to be October 30th, which is 2 days from today. So you still got time if you call me, but more likely you're going to see this too late. So for that reason, whenever you're ready to buy a house and you want to go to an auction, you have to tell your real estate agent, you know, that you would like to explore this type of sales as well, so they can give you this information. If they say, no, I don't know how to do this or whatever, you need to find a different real estate agent, somebody who can guide you through these things. Finally, we have some other properties in Upper Marlboro for $345,000 is pending, and this one in Berwyn Heights is also $210,000. It's also an auction property. That's not a bad price. $1.2 million. This is in Rockville. You know, you never can tell. This house is pending. You know, so basically it's already sold. And this house in Silver Spring, we have a house for $362,000 in Silver Spring. And this house has 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. They only have 1 picture on this house. As you can see, it doesn't look too hot, you know, but the price for Silver Spring is $362,000. And then when we go over here and read this, REO occupied, the seller does not represent or guarantee occupancy status. What does that mean? That is a red flag for me, because if I'm representing you and trying to buy this house, that means that the occupant may still be on this house, and I'm going to make sure that they're not, because if they're still on the house, then when you buy this house at the auction, you also are inheriting the problem. And the problem is that you have to hire the courts, you have to hire an attorney to get these people out of the house so you can utilize it to whatever you're going to do, whether you're going to fix it, sell it, fix it, and live in it, or no, it doesn't matter. But now you have a problem. You just purchase a home through an auction, but now you have to use your attorney to help these people get out. And sometimes, you know, those people are maybe, you know, they may be mad at the bank, mad at the courts, and they may take and say, ignore this completely, says, you know, I'm going to stay here as long as possible. And that could be several months for you to be able to spend money and trying to get those people out, and you're losing money month for month, and basically that is not a good deal for you anymore. For that reason, my advice, if you're buying a home auction, making sure that the house is vacant, and that will take care of that problem. And let somebody professional, also professional investors, to get those houses with people living on it, because then sometimes it may require for you to bribe them and give them money to get out of the house and say, here's $5,000 or here's $10,000, please leave out of my house so I can sell it to somebody else. Sometimes you may have to do that, so you got to be ready for that. So again, guys, this is information that I want to bring to you because I think it's very important if you're looking for a house. I know how hard it is to try to get a home, especially nowadays when you have multiple offers and you're competing with other buyers. And what is funny, you know, and what I'm seeing, you know, as a manager for Samsung Properties in Rio and Gettysburg, we have over 200 agents in this office, and I see the problems that some of our agents have. And basically what's happening is the same quantity of people, they finding a home and they have 10 offers and multiple offers on this house. The same people are going to the next listing, you know, one by one. They may be dropping off because their offer is getting accepted, but the same people are competing for the same houses in the same neighborhoods, and this is getting to be a big problem. For that reason, when you're talking to your real estate agent, if you decide to call on us, I'll be happy to assign you an agent that is going to care for you to making sure that you save as much money as possible, but at the same time give you the option to be able to buy a home that is an auction property, and that is an option that may save you thousands of dollars, but making sure that the real estate agent that is helping you knows all the ins and outs of what's going on when it comes to buying homes in auction process. Again, this is Fernando with MAXUS Realty Group of Samsung Properties. Thank you for taking the time listening to this video and watching this video. Please subscribe, and I will see you next week. Have a great day.